Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 11. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindriyairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva shuddhaye. Kayena, with the body, manasa, with the mind, buddhya, with the intelligence, kevalaihi, purified, indriyaihi, with the senses, api, even, yoginah, Krishna conscious persons, karma, actions, kurvanti, they perform, sangam, attachment, tyaktva, giving up, atma, of the self, shuddhaye, for the purpose of purification. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification. Please repeat. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification. Purport. When one acts in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the senses of Krishna, any action, whether of the body, mind, intelligence or even the senses, is purified of material contamination. There are no material reactions resulting from the activities of a Krishna conscious person. Therefore, purified activities which are generally called sadachar can be easily performed by acting in Krishna consciousness. Sri Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.187 describes this as follows. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasagira nikhilasvapyavasthasu jivan muktah sa uchyate. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in the service of Krishna, with his body, mind, intelligence and words, is a liberated person even within the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities. He has no false ego, for he does not believe that he is this material body or that he possesses the body. He knows that he is not this body and that this body does not belong to him. He himself belongs to Krishna and the body too belongs to Krishna. When he applies everything produced of the body, mind, intelligence, words, life, wealth, etc., whatever he may have within his possession, to Krishna's service, he is at once dovetailed with Krishna. He is one with Krishna and is devoid of the false ego that leads one to believe that he is the body, etc. This is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. So pretty much this verse sums up everything that this Krishna consciousness movement is all about. So if you see in the many nice words in the shloka and also very important explanation in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, the word here is used yogina, and Srila Prabhupada translated it as Krishna conscious persons. Yogi, we know the word yogi, it's overused today. Persons who stand upside down or who stand like animals or do some asanas. I mean, it's part of yoga, but people do not understand why the yoga system is there and what actually yoga is. So if we have to always go back to the roots of everything, we have to understand everything from its very core, the purpose of everything. So the word yoga, what is the definition of the word yoga? Yoga means link, connection. attachment. Like in mathematics, if you learn in Hindi medium school, yog means addition. Yog means addition. You 3 and 5 put together then becomes 8. So when it comes together, that is yoga. Viyoga means the opposite. Viyoga means disconnection. So what has connection to do with standing upside down or stretching, or what is that? What connection is it? One person told me it is a connection between mind and body. But actually that mind and body is always connected anyway. Whether you do exercise or not, it is connected. So what connection are we talking about? So the connection is between the Atma and the Paramatma. Then why these exercises are there? So this is actually part of the Ashtanga Yoga system. Those pranayama or asana. First is, what is Ashtanga Yoga? Ashta means 8. Anga means parts or stages. Yoga. System of yoga or Hatha Yoga, which has 8 parts. What are they? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then Pratyahara, then 5. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So these are the 8 parts of the Ashtanga Yoga system. So first is Yama and Niyama, rules and regulations. What is rules? What you should do. Regulations are what you should not do. The do's and don'ts first. So let's look at some of the do's and don'ts. I mean, this is a very, very brief list of them, but nevertheless, I think it's 6:11, I think. So in the 6th chapter, actually Krishna explains his entire yoga system briefly, but Arjuna cuts him off, saying that it's not practical for me. You say something else now. Why? I mean, Arjuna was actually very qualified, but he said that because he knew that when this conversation was happening, this Bhagavad Gita, it was right at the end of Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga was just going to come. Kali Yuga was already actually there, but was waiting for Krishna to depart, because when Krishna is around, Kali Yuga cannot come. So once Krishna left, Kali came in. So, and Bhagavad Gita is going to be a beacon of light for the population of Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga, nobody has any. They say, I am doing meditation, Prabhu. What meditation? 20 minutes. 20-minute meditation is meditation. You know what is meditation? Valmiki did meditation for 60,000 years without stop. Not talking about 60,000 years of doing 20 minutes meditation a day. No, that was the only thing he was doing before he got the perfection that he got. And this meditation process is possible in Satya Yuga, not in this Kali Yuga at all. But anyway, let's see what that meditation process is. What is the Yama and Niyama first? Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasanamatmanah natyuchritam nati nicham chailajina kushottaram tatraikagram manah kritva yata chittendriya kriyah upavishyasane yunjyad yogamatma vishuddhaye. Again, atma vishuddhaye. Today's verse also atma shuddhaye. Sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. What is atma shuddhaye? For the purpose of self purification. That is the first thing. The purpose of this is for self purification, not to become fit or to attract the opposite sex with a attractive body. That's the last thing. In fact, we will see it in this rule and regulation. What is this Yama and Niyama first of all? Before we go to Asana, Yama, Niyama, Asana. So not that everybody jump to Asana first. That is not real yoga or true yoga. That is advertised in the CBD area of Singapore. I think those who are working in CBD, they can see true yoga, real yoga. You go there, they will have a boutique of t-shirts, all merchandise. I mean, So you see now, what is the rule and regulation? To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place. What is that secluded place? Prabhu, corner of my house, one room is there. No. Not to be disturbed at all. Not in the city. Not in civilization. In the forest. First thing, gone. One should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the one. First of all, one doesn't know what is kusha grass. You know that in Tamil we call it darpe. I don't know, you know or not. Kusha grass is very auspicious grass. It's used for yajna performances and anything religious. One should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. What is a sacred place? Not Mustafa or some cinema theatre. No. This is, like in the Naimisharanya, in the bank of the Ganga, Haridwar, Rishikesh, all these places, and in fact in the Himalayas. Or, of course, nowadays our process is different. Ours is in the temple. I'm coming to that. But if you want to practice that yoga, that Ashtanga yoga system, this is where you have to go. Sacred place, where there is constant running water, river, sacred rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Narmada, Saraswati, what is that? Kaveri, Sindhu, all these are sacred rivers in India. So on the river banks, there used to be hermitages of these sages, and there they used to practice. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. And what is that one point? He will elaborate. Not that make mind blank or make something focus on some light. Nowadays they are inventing all this meditation. Yoga has become a cheap word nowadays. Whatever is sacred is becoming very cheaply used. Okay, next verse. Next two verses. Now comes more. If you thought that now it was already quite bad, now it even gets even worse. Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayan achalam sthiraha samprekshya nasikagram swam dishaschana valokayan prashantatma vigatabhir brahmachari vrate sthitaha manah samyamya machitto yukta asita matparaha. One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. In the forest, we should not be with any fear. Not that whether tiger is coming or snake is coming, or some scorpion is coming. So many things will be there in the forest, right? Not to be afraid. Who is practiced nowadays like this? First of all, this yama niyama, everybody is failing. Nobody knows how to live in the forest anymore. I'm brahmachari vrate sthitaha. Completely devoid, no family, nothing. Finish. Then practice asana. And that too, what is this asana all about? Why the asanas? It is actually, this whole Ashtanga Yoga system is a very mechanical process of controlling the senses, subduing the sensory, because our senses are very strong. Our senses are very, very strong. In animals, one particular sense is very strong, which makes them susceptible to material attachment. Whereas in human life, every one of our senses are very strong and we become susceptible to material attachment. The example is like a fish. The weakness of the fish is the tongue. You put anything, how they catch fish? Put some bait, easily it will come. And there is so much food in the water, but it will come rush to the surface to get that one and then gets caught. So that is its weakness, tongue. The deer, its weakness is ears. You play nice music, it will come and the hunter will just shoot it. The elephant is captured from the wild by using a female elephant. So it falls for the genitals. So the female elephant is trained to go on a certain path. But without the knowledge of this male elephant, there is a big, pit that is dug first, and then it's covered with, some thing. So it cannot be seen by the elephant. So the female elephant is trained to go around it, but the male elephant will fall into it and then gets trapped. And the firefly, its weakness is its eyes. When there is a bright fire, it will go, wow, something so nice, and go glaring, and then gets burnt to death. So in this way, and with the frog's weakness is it croaks. He is very proud of his voice, although it sounds terrible. And what it does, it invites the snake, talking nonsense and inviting the death. Now, if you see human life, every one of our senses are strong. Therefore, in the second chapter, it is said, I think 60th verse. Okay, 60th and also 67th maybe, 67th. So we'll see the 60th verse. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Not just a fool is carried away by the senses, but even by a man of discrimination, completely in knowledge, even then. I mean, we have the example of Vishwamitra Muni. He was so advanced yogi. But when Menaka came, like the male elephant, gone. Instead of getting yogic powers, he got one daughter, Shakuntala. So, like that, we have Shaubhari Muni, another Muni, who married 50 princesses. He thought he will do yoga, where he will have, here it is said you have to go alone, right? Secluded place. Okay, I think even if I am in the forest, maybe somebody will come or some sages will come. I will go to absolute secluded place. He went to the water. He was a yogi, he could do that. He went underwater. At the sea bed, he was doing his yoga. And he was doing yoga, sitting down meditating. Then he saw two fish having sex. He was so agitated, he came out, married 50 princesses. Princesses, not ordinary women, no. Shaubhari Muni. So, I mean, our senses are always, and that is in those days. Today, you go out, people are not dressed properly. The women, half naked, eyes gone, and smell of the, what is that? This restaurant food, especially if you go to Little India, a whole row is full of restaurants. And, oh, this is nice, that smells nice. Or you pass by some, what is this, some bakery, oh, some smell, go inside, buy something. And what is sold there? Meat products. And then people like this pop song. Pop stars are biggest. I think their videos on the YouTube, if you see, billions of views. I am saying B, not even millions. They go to billions. I think even trillions of views, some of them. That many times. Everybody hears music. And what is that? Simply some material attachment, some so-called love song. A lust song actually. Songs about lust, lusty affairs. And these are going on. And we are basically using all our senses, our mind, our body in all this, getting attached to these sensory attachments. So, yama niyama means to withdraw, and then asana, then pranayama, breathing, control of the breathing. Then pratyahara, withdrawing of the senses. That means completely unattached, that means not concerned about what is going on outside. Dharana, holding. And then dhyana, meditating on the Paramatma. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yogina. Not to meditate upon some blanking the mind or no. Meditation means meditating on Paramatma. Nothing else is called meditation. Of course, in one sense, everything is meditation because you are meditating on something. If a boy meditates on some girl, that is also meditation. He is meditating on something. But transcendental or for purification, meditation means to meditate only on Vishnu or Krishna, Paramatma. And then finally samadhi is a stage where one is completely fixed. I think the definition of samadhi is here. I think, where is it? I think it's 247, I guess, purport. Is it here? 248. Wait. 244. Yeah. The Nirukti, the Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti says, Samyag adhiyate smin atma tattva yathatmyam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyments and bewildered by such temporary things. So complete absorption in Krishna, thoughts of Krishna, that is samadhi. So that is the process of yoga. Yoga means to connect with Krishna. But our Krishna consciousness process is far superior because first of all, we don't have the lifetime that is required for the perfection of this practice of meditation and all this asana. It is not possible by a 20-minute session every day for maybe 2-3 years or 2 months. No. This has to be done for thousands of years. And that is not possible in Kali Yuga because human life is only maximum 100 years. Some people live a little more, but mostly less. That is in Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, people used to have such long lifetimes. Not that in Satya Yuga it was ice age or some dinosaurs age, there was no such thing. Man was there since the very beginning of time. And then in Satya Yuga, there was lifetime of 100,000 years of humans. They used to live for 100,000 years. Then in Treta Yuga, it was divided by 10. People used to live for 10,000 years. Like Ramachandra Bhagwan, he ruled Ayodhya for 13,000 years. After Sita left, he ruled still for 13,000 years. So that is Treta Yuga. Then Dwapar Yuga, divided by 10 again. Instead of 10,000, now 1,000 years. And Kali Yuga, divided by 10, 100 years. So this lifetime is not enough, first of all. And then our mind is totally disturbed. I cannot first of all go to the forest. We have never seen. How many of you actually went to the forest at all? I mean visiting. How many of you went to the forest at all? For even visiting, you went. Few people. Just for maybe a visit, I think. I remember I went when I was a small boy. We went for a safari and we were staying there about 2 nights, 3 days or something. And we got chased by elephants. Herd of elephants. I almost died. I was only about maybe 11 years old, maybe 10 to 11 years old. We were on this vehicle and then the herd of elephants were there and we were going and then the engine failed. I mean, just for 2 days, 3 nights, already I am afraid of elephants. I mean, if I have to stay there for thousands of years, herd of elephants or what is that, pride of lions or what is that, herd of buffaloes or whatever it is. I mean, how many things are there in the forest? Yes, 2 days already we were attacked by elephants. And also there was a, pony. I think it was a domesticated one, I don't know, but it was quite wild. I mean, it was not really domesticated. We had this, chalet, and we had a strong glass. And the pony just came all the way running and then hit the glass. Luckily, nothing happened. The glass was strong enough. Otherwise, the glass would have been finished. So, I mean, how many dangers are there in the forest? It's just 2 days. So, we are not accustomed to live in the forest at all. So many things. In Kali Yuga it's not possible. But in Kali Yuga there is another process that is explained in the Bhagavatam. Okay, first of all, before going to the process, let us see what is the symptom of Kali Yuga people. How much they can stay in Samadhi. Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, 10th verse. This is Kali Yuga population qualification. This is how we are qualified. Prayena alpayushah sabhya kalavasmin yuge janah mandah sumandamatayo mandabhagya hyupadrutah. First thing. Okay, let's look at the words. Prayena, almost always. Alpa ayushaha, meager duration of life. Such a short duration we have. Sabhya, member of a learned society. Kalau, in this age of Kali, quarrel. First of all, this is an age of Kali means quarrel. People don't have slightest patience. They fight for silly things. Very petty things they will fight. I saw somebody sent me a video. They were sitting in the bus. So this man was sitting here, the woman was sitting in front. And the window, she wanted it closed, he wanted it open. So he is opening it, she is closing it. He is opening it, he is closing it. 5 minutes they are doing same thing. Fighting. Just for window. I mean, let's see. This is Kali Yuga. Asmin, here in Yuga age, Janah, the public, Mandah. First of all, they have short duration of life. Then they are always quarreling. Mandah, lazy. Lazy. Very lazy. You may say, Prabhu, I am not lazy, Prabhu. Every day I am working, Lazy in the matter of self-purification, Atma Shuddhaye. In this matter, absolutely lazy. They are very busy. In other, sometimes of course, materially also they are lazy. But materially sometimes, especially nowadays, you cannot afford to be lazy. Every day you have to wake up and every day you have to rush hour and then go and work and come back. Nowadays, thanks to this COVID, nobody needs to go to work almost. But again, it's starting back. So, people are, but still there is work from home also, right? So, you cannot afford to be lazy in that sense. But spiritually speaking, everybody is lazy. You ask them to chant, Prabhu, no time, Prabhu. Lazy. This is called lazy. Not interested. Lazy, sumanda matayaha, misguided. This is another thing. They are misguided. Misguided means, first of all, they are materially, give prasadam. Misguided means, first of all, from the very childhood, in the education system, what is there? Is there anything about God? Nothing. How to become a devotee? No. You see? From starting of life. And if at all one becomes a little bit interested in some spiritual process, he is led by so many cheater rascals in the name of gurus, who speak some absolute rubbish, nothing connected with Bhagavad Gita, their own concocted philosophies and their own concocted processes, and they charge also very exorbitant fees, and people are willing to pay. When we say chant Hare Krishna free of charge, no, free, is worthless. In English there are two words, price and worth. Price and worth. What is its price? How much is it worth? Sounds the same, right? Now you add a less suffix. Priceless, worthless. So when you don't put a price, they think it is worthless. If you put a price, then there is value. Oh, if it is some $20,000 course, that means it must be something really pakka. Only 10,000. So there are actually a lot of people like this, and misguided completely. They have YouTube channels, millions of subscribers, millions of views, but talking rubbish Now people, when we say, oh, how can you say like that, Prabhu? He has millions of people, following him. So what? The millions of people are judged or what? They don't know what they are coming for. They don't know what is the aim of life. So what if there are millions of people? And millions of this kind of people. Lazy, misguided, and what is that? Next, mandabhagya, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. This kind of millions of people, what is the use of certification of this kind of millions of people? What is the value of the millions? We need only one certification from Guru and Krishna. That's it. Srila Prabhupada also said when he preached, I don't care for the opinion of the world. I care only for the opinion of my Guru and Krishna. And Guru means he has to repeat the opinion of Krishna. If he is saying something else than the opinion of Krishna, he is a rascal, he is not Guru. He may be dressed very nice, big beard and huge malas and very bright saffron colored dress, everything is okay, fine. But if he is speaking something which is not spoken by Krishna, sometimes they take Bhagavad Gita also, they speak on Bhagavad Gita. Still they speak rubbish. When Krishna says surrender to me, they say when you are reading surrender to me, that means you have to surrender to yourself. People are saying like this, some gurus. I'm going to actually make the video coming out, already shot, editing going on. There was one, he was mentioning this so-called Hare Krishna devotee who is also following this kind of example of nonsense talk, wearing the dress of a devotee but absolutely rubbish talking. And he is explaining Bhagavad Gita with reference, giving reference from Lion King movie. Lion King movie. After the sacred Bhagavad Gita, God has personally come and spoken. It needs explanation. It needs a torchlight from the Lion King movie. It's not bright enough, the message. I mean, it's like the sun. Purana Arka Adhunodhita. Arka means sun. This Bhagavat Puran and the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, they are like the sun, as bright as the sun. You require a torchlight to show the sun. If anything is dark, and then you require a torchlight to shine your torchlight to show. But when there is sun, why there is a need for a torchlight? And some animated movie. I mean, come on. There has to be some limit. Animated movie. He was using that to explain Bhagavad Gita. So, I am actually in the process of making, because just Gita Jayanti just passed now. I actually wanted to release it for Gita Jayanti. But service was there, then could not be completed, but I will maybe by this week. So, unlucky, mandabhagya, upadruta, always disturbed. So, this kind of population we cannot. That's why Arjuna said this. What did he say in the 6th chapter? Arjuna said, Krishna, enough. First of all, whatever you say are not possible for me. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavadrudham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. When there is a storm, what can you do? But mind is even greater than the storm. And therefore, he says in the previous verse 633 here, as Krishna was speaking about yoga system and what you should do, what you should not do, yama niyama, he hasn't even gone to pranayama yet. A little bit he touched upon asana, you have to sit down, straight and all that. But mostly yama and niyama, Arjuna said enough. He said, Arjuna vacha, yoyam yogastvaya proktaha, samyena madhusudana, etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat sthitim sthiram. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. And it is more difficult than to control the wind. Therefore, we have another process. It's not all hopeless. So, there is immense hope by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not this, next one. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:352. Krite yadhyayato vishnum tretayam yajato makhaihi dvapare paricharyayam kalau tadhari kirtanat. So in 4 yugas there are 4 different standard processes for self-realization. Atma Shuddhaya. What are them? Krite, in the Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, the first Yuga, Dhyayato Vishnum. This meditation process is for that Yuga. You know. Tretayam, in Treta Yuga, Yajato Makhai. Makhai means ghee, butter. So they used to do this yajna process and they used to pour ghee into the fire, these oblations. Yajato. Yajato means yajna. That was the, and nowadays, okay, you can see some homam in this and that temple here and there, but the real standard of homam is how elaborate. First of all, the brahmanas have to be qualified, the ingredients have to be qualified. Nowadays, the ghee is not pure, first of all. Forget it. Yajato makhai, the makhai is not pure. The brahmanas are gone case. They are only interested in how much dakshin is coming, only not interested in. They are chanting so many mantras, they don't even know the meaning. Chanting going on. Don't know the meaning of what they are chanting also. These kind of, nothing is, and place, everything, all the things are impure. And the kind of charity you have to give for this kind of yajna performances, you can't even imagine. And not a single soul should be dissatisfied, whoever appears there. Whether he be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everybody must be thoroughly served. No, not possible. Dvapare Paricharyayam, opulent, huge temple worship. If you go to India now, all those old temples, especially if you go to South India, even more so. In South India, the temples, huge, mammoth temples. To even run one of them, you need thousands of people every day. Nowadays there are just some dogs running in the courtyard and some sanctum sanctorum is there. That part is a little bit, some pujari is there and doing some puja. Most of it is just desert wasteland. Nowadays, and those days the temple used to be the tallest structure in the city. Like in Jagannath Puri, from anywhere you will see the chakra of the temple and immediately reminds you of Jagannath. Now you see that skyline of today's world, all the financial buildings, money is there. You see those buildings, money comes to your mind. CBD, that is the central business district, business. It used to be central spiritual district. Like Jagannath Puri. From wherever you will see the chakra. That was the standard. Architecture, every other building, it should be lesser than the temple. It is offense for the building to be taller than the temple. But nowadays, temple is nowhere to be found. We have to adjust ourselves within one of the apartments inside this building. Not to speak of anything else. And Kalau in Kali Yuga, Tad Hari Kirtanat. Hari Kirtan, Krishna Kirtan. The perfection which could have been gotten by the meditation in Satya Yuga, the same perfection is gotten by the yajna process in Treta Yuga. The same perfection is possible by opulent temple worship in Dwapar Yuga. That same perfection is possible just by Hari Kirtan in Kali Yuga. And what do you need for Hari Kirtan? What are the ingredients for Hari Kirtan? Ghee? No. Big buildings? No. Big meditation? Going in forest? No. What do you need? Tongue. Tongue everybody has. And they are using it. They are using it to social media. Basically, writing is basically what they want to speak. And that's why Facebook is one of the biggest companies. Google, YouTube is one of the biggest companies. And Twitter, Instagram. Why these will flourish? Because anything to do with tongue will flourish in Kali Yuga. But the real thing we should do is with the tongue is Hari Kirtan, to glorify the Lord. That is all these things are glorification of the Lord only. Meditation or yajna or temple worship. But that same glorification in Kali Yuga is especially just tongue is enough. Even if one is the most poor man, if he does not have anything, he has a tongue. So it is available for everybody. Whether he is Manda, Sumandamati or lazy person doesn't have to go anywhere, just open mouth and chant Hare Krishna. But people are so lazy that also they don't want to do. They are lazy to open the mouth and chant Hare Krishna. There's a nice verse in the Mukundamala Stotra by Kulashekar. Srinath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Bhakta Priya Chakrapane Shri Padmanabha Achyuta Kaita Bhare Shri Rama Padmaksha Hare Murare Ananta Vaikuntha Mukunda Krishna Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Vaktum Samarthopi Navakti Kaschid Aho Jananam Vyasanabhimukhyam. You see, O Srinath, Narayana, Vasudeva, Divine Krishna, O kind friend of your devotees, Bhakta Priya, O Chakrapani, means one who is the holder of the chakra, Padmanabha, Achyuta, Kaitabhari, Rama, Padmaksha, Hari, Murari, O Ananta, Vaikuntha, Mukunda, Krishna, Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. So many names are there and millions of others. Although all people can address you, still they remain silent. Just see how eager they are for their own peril. Kali Yuga. Another one. Kalau Narajan Jagatam Param Gurum Trilokanathanata Pada Pankajam Prayena Martya Bhagavantam Achyutam Yakshyanti Pashanda Vibhinna Chetasaha. O King, in the age of Kali, people's intelligence will be diverted by atheism and they will almost never offer sacrifice to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Spiritual Master of the universe. Although the great personalities who control the three worlds all bow down to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the petty and miserable human beings of this age will not do so. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, all of them are bowing their heads at the lotus feet of Krishna. But the petty and miserable human beings of this age are thinking they are more than God. Next verse, you see, 12.344. Yannamadheyam riyamana aturaham patan skhalan va vivasho grinan puman vimukta karmar gala uttamam gatim prapnoti yakshyanti natam kalaujana, the population of Kali Yuga. Terrified, about to die, a man collapses on his bed. Although his voice is faltering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive activities, his fruitive work, and achieve the supreme destination just by opening his mouth. But still people in this age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. That is the meaning of Manda, lazy. So, we have to use our Kayena Vacha. Actually, there is a nice similar verse to today's verse in the Bhagavatam also. Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana va Nusritasva Bhavat Karodi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayetat. In accordance with the particular nature one has acquired in conditioned life, whatever one does with body, words, mind, senses, intelligence or purified consciousness, one should offer to the Supreme thinking, this is for the pleasure of Lord Narayana. So we have so many talents, right? With our body, mind, words, intelligence, senses. We can do so many things. Each of us are differently endowed with different skills, talents. So the perfection of such facilities, first of all we have to understand those talents are not yours. It is not ours. We have been bestowed by Krishna. whatever we have. Because we did not choose how much intelligence we're going to have. We did not choose how much beauty we're going to have. We did not choose anything. We did not choose our parents. The parents did not choose us. It's just everything by the arrangement of Krishna. And according to what? Karmana daivanetrena. According to our previous activities. Krishna gave us the facility with different skills and whatever talents. We have the perfection of the use of such talents is not for self-aggrandizement to show that I am the top in the world. No. Who is actually the top in the world? That is also there. Because still, as much as we understand in this, we have to give up false ego. People still want to be the best. Right? So, there is a definition of how to become the best. Now, in today's verse, let's recap this today's verse, especially the first line, you see, second line also. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalay indriyairapi. Yes, Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Kayena means what? Body, by the body. Manasa means by the mind. Buddhya means intelligence. Indriya means senses. So, these are the things that we are using to do anything in this world. And we want to become the best by using this. So, what is the best use of this? So, that is explained here. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 80, Text 3 and 4. Savagyaya tasya gunan granite karau cha tat karma karau manascha smaredvasantam sthira jangameshu shrinoti tat punya katha sakarna. Actual speech is that which describes the qualities of the Lord. Real hands are those that work for Him. A true mind is that which always remembers Him, dwelling within everything, moving and non-moving. The true yoga? That is not true. This is true yoga. Of engaging the mind in always remembering Krishna. And actual ears are those that listen to sanctifying topics about Him. Then next. Shirastu tasyo bhayalingamanamet tadeva yat pashyati tadhi chakshuh Angani Vishnu Ratha Jananam Padodakam Yani Bhajanti Nityam. An actual head is one that bows down to the Lord in His manifestations among the moving and non-moving creatures. Real eyes are those that see only the Lord, and actual limbs are those which regularly honor the water that has bathed the Lord's feet or those of His devotees. This is also from Mukundamala Stotra. Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishiras te netre tamasojjite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate sa buddhir vimalindu shankha dhavala ya madhavadhyayini sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam ya stauti narayanam. That head is the loftiest, the best of the heads. It's not that, those who have the best hairstyle. That's not the best head. Best head is that which is white with dust. The head full of dust. That is the best head. And dust from where? From bowing down to Lord Krishna. And when the dust of the floor is covering our hair, that hairstyle is the best. Those eyes are the most beautiful, which darkness has abandoned after they have seen Lord Hari. That intelligence is spotless, like the white glow of the moon or a conch shell, which concentrates on Lord Madhava. And that tongue rains down nectar, which constantly glorifies Lord Narayan. So, this is the best use. You want to be the best. Yes, be best in this way. This is Krishna's opinion. The world will say, you are the best. You know, these talent shows are there. America's Got Talent, India's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. Somebody will get a prize. Oh, best, best, best. Who is the judge? Who are those 4 judges sitting there? Some meat eater, drunkard, womanizer. These are the people sitting there judging the people. Krishna does not even care for talent. Who's got devotion? That's what Krishna says. Whether America's got devotion, Britain's got devotion, India's got devotion. That's what Krishna wants to see. He doesn't care about talent. Like, Vidura. He, in his devotion, when Krishna came to his house, he could not control his senses anymore, because the Supreme Lord of the entire universe has entered my home. In his ecstasy, he was, wanting to offer something, but he was only in a humble cottage. He couldn't offer very palatable foodstuff. And in his great haste, he was, whatever fruits were there, he was going to offer them, and he took some bananas and, he peeled the bananas and then gave the peel to Krishna and threw the banana and gave the peel to Krishna and threw the bananas. Krishna was eating the peel like a cow. He did not ask, what are you doing? Hey, come on. No, he did not even say that. He was eating the peels like a cow would eat. Because he cared for only one thing, the devotion of Vidura. He did not care what he was giving. That is, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachate. Give me a leaf, flower, fruit or water. But he is not a beggar. A beggar would also ask for these things. But he is not a beggar. But why is he begging? He is begging for us to become purified. So that if we give a fruit to Krishna, we will become purified. Not Krishna is, we are favored. Prabhu, sometimes people say, Prabhu, I want to help the temple. You can help the temple? You contribute something here, you will be helped. So, why Krishna has to beg? I mean, he is the one who created the fruit. He is the one who created the leaf. He is the one who created the water. Why does he need one fruit from us? As if we can create a fruit. Did we create the fruit? He created the fruit. Why is he asking his fruit? Yes. He is not asking the fruit. He is asking the devotion. Yome bhaktya prayachati. If the bhakti is not there, that ingredient is not there, I will not accept. I will not accept. So, a devotee is today's verse. Let's go back. Sorry. You see, yoginah karma kurvanti. See, today's verse is karma kurvanti. That means they are doing work. Devotees are busy. Not that, so usually yogina karma kurvanti. How can yogi do some work? Yogi means he is sitting in the Himalayas doing nothing, right? So that's, people have that opinion. Yogi means, this guy, he is lazy fellow. He doesn't want to work hard in this world. So he is just, in the pretext of being some advanced spiritualist, he is going and doing nothing. So this is the idea people have. You may say, no, but you wait. When one sadhu comes to the house, the people will want blessings from the sadhu. Oh, please, give Ashirwad. But when one's own son becomes sadhu, hey, rascal, what are you doing? That time they won't ask Ashirwad. Hey, rascal, what are you doing? You could have become a big time engineer, this, that, what are you doing? They don't like. Can you imagine? This is how you should think. Parents should beget children only for the purpose of preaching this movement. The children should become preachers of the Krishna conscious movement. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to Krishna, please send me your servant as my son, so that this Krishna conscious movement can be spread all over the world. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born, and the entire India was flooded with Krishna consciousness because of his preaching. That is the duty of the householder. What is this? Today's verse. Kayena manasa buddhya. By our body, what we should do? Kayena means what? Body. Kaya means body. Kayena means by the body. By the body only we got, right, children? What should we do? Okay, let's see a more clear verse which explains this even more clearly. गुरुर्न सस्यात् स्वजनो न सस्यात् पिता न सस्यात् जननी न सा स्यात् दैवं न तत्स्यान्न पतिश्च सस्यान् नमोचयेद्यः समुपेत मृत्युम्. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a relative, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. We should not become a parent if we cannot give the children, the dependents, moksha from this birth and death cycle. That means they have taken birth in the family. They should not take another birth. That should be the determination of the parents. Otherwise, we are committing sin. We will be entangled in sinful activities if we don't do that. So, kayena, manasa, buddhya. So, every facet of our life, basically, we are using all these tools. Kayena, manasa, buddhya, indriya. That's all we are using. And all the byproducts of such use of our bodily parts, of our intelligence, mind, should be devotion to Krishna. So, that's why it is said in the purport today. What is that? You see, this verse was quoted by Rupa Goswami. Iha yasya harerdasye karmana manasagira nikhilasvapyavasthasu jivan muktah sa uchyate. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in the service of Krishna, with his body, mind, intelligence, and words, is a liberated person even within the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities. So, his mind, how to use our mind for Krishna? Always think about Krishna. Everything should remind us of Krishna. How to think of always Krishna? You know, Prabhu, sometimes people say, I am busy, Prabhu, very busy. Okay, I don't think you can be as busy as Arjuna, right? You know how busy was Arjuna on the battlefield? Everybody is working. Now he is also working. Arjuna was also working. His work was fighting on the battlefield. And while fighting, anytime you can die. He is fighting one, he is an Atiratha. You know what's an Atiratha? There is Ratha and Maharatha and Atiratha. Maharatha means one who can fight with 10,000 people at one time. And Atiratha means one who can fight with multiples of 10,000. There's no limit of how many people he can fight with at the same time, simultaneously. Not nowadays a one-on-one, some kung fu movie, you'll see one hero beating up 7 people. Nothing. And that too all choreographed. Actually, if it happens in real life, he'll be dead. That was real war. And he was fighting thousands, tens of thousands at one time. Atiratha. Oh, now, can we be busy more than Arjuna? And what kind of busy is that? Not just the boss shouting, no. If he is inattentive for one moment, the arrow will just cut his head off. He is basically life and death. Okay? At that time, Krishna said this. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayyarpita mano buddhir mame vaishyasya samshayaha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. How? How? When you have to shoot, the speed at which he was shooting. Another name of Arjuna is, what is that called? Savyasachi. He can shoot with right and left hand at the exact same efficacy and speed. And he used to shoot 60 arrows a second. Nobody could see when he was putting his hand in the quiver, when he was taking out the arrow, when he was putting it to the bow, and when he was releasing it. Nobody could even see it. It was so fast. And the entire day, from sunrise to sunset, they will fight. At sunset, there is rest. 18 days they were fighting like this. And he was fighting the topmost warriors. Bhishma, Dronacharya, Karna, Ashwathama, Duryodhan, Jayadratha, Shalya, so many. He was fighting. Not just some kids, But Krishna took charge of his. The thing is, because he was doing this, But how to actually first of all do this? Fighting and thinking of Krishna at the same time while you are so busy is only possible with one thing, that is love. When you love someone, whatever you are doing, you are thinking of that person. That is only possible with love. You have to be constantly attached to that person. With that attachment only is possible. That means, that's why Krishna says, Maya saktamana partha, get attached to me. Now today's verse is, Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye, giving up attachment. But actually, giving up attachment for our bodily connections. But that is not possible without getting sufficiently attached with Krishna. Our nature is to be attached. We cannot be detached actually. We cannot actually give up attachment. It's not possible. Sometimes people ask, Prabhu, how come you are, no family, no work, nothing, how come doing? It might be very difficult, right? So I say, Prabhu, I find that your life is difficult. How can you be with family and everything? So the thing is, actually everybody is attached. They think to give up the attachment is very difficult. It is, but it becomes very easy if we become attached to Krishna. It is only a shifting of the subject on which we are attached. It is not actually giving up any attachment. That same attachment which we have for this material world, our family, our hearth and home, we have to have for Krishna. There is a story of Bilamangal Thakur, where he was so attached to a prostitute that on one day, every day he used to go to the prostitute. And one day, his father, I actually mix up all the time these two stories. Ajamil and Bilamangal. Who was that? The father died. Okay. So father passed away. While he was having every day these visits to the prostitute, one day the old father passed away. And he quickly do something, do the funeral, burn the body and run to the prostitute. Still nothing went into his head, absolute nothing, zero. And then he did the funeral, quickly finished, okay, run, okay, finish, okay, now go. And when he was about to go, there was this huge clouds gathered. So dark, it was almost like night. Storm started. And to go to that, he has to actually cross the river. He used to pay the boatman and he used to go. But this time, the storm was so bad that the whole river was swelled up. And the water was, gushing everywhere. And, everything was, swept by the water and trees fell into the water and, some people died. And so he came to the water and was thinking, wow, how to cross this? No boatman here. Okay, never mind, let's swim. He started swimming. And then he found one log. And he caught onto the log and, swam all the way to the other side. And then once he came out, he saw, this was not a log. It was a dead body, a human. He did not even notice in his madness how much attached he was. He completely was, he did not know what he was doing. So he went there and he crossed. Wow, that was a close call. That was scary. Then he ran still. Scary or not scary, now he just wanted the prostitute. So he ran, and then the prostitute's house is quite, I don't know, maybe she was rich or what, but she had high walls. Her house had a high wall. So he wanted to climb the wall. Gate was closed. He was shouting, the storm was too loud, she could not hear anything. And he, wanted to climb, and then he found a rope. Okay, he put the rope, and then he climbed, and then got on the other side. Then he found the rope was actually a snake. It's a real story. Bilamangal Thakur. And then that was even close. Then he went and knocked the door. Chintamani, her name was Chintamani. Chintamani, I'm here. What? She was wondering, what? Then she opened the door, then she found, you are here? Wow, if this much attachment you had for Krishna, how great a devotee you would have been. She just said that. Immediately his mind changed. Because actually in his previous life, he was so advanced devotee that he went until the stage of bhava, almost to the platform of love of Godhead. But somehow or other, he slipped. We are nowhere close. We are fully with how much risk we have. How much assurance can we have in going back to Godhead? We have to become serious. So anyway, he fell down. coming from that stage. So when this lady said this, immediately he remembered that memory. Krishna, switched that memory on. Then he immediately left her. He left her and wanted to go to Vrindavan. And on the way, again he got enamored by another woman's beauty. And then he was chasing after her again. Then he was just following her, stalking her. And he found out that actually she is a married woman. Of course, married women have also different symbols, they put the kumkum and all that. So, you would understand. So, he found a husband. Then he pulled aside the husband and said, I request a favor. What? I want your wife. How shameless. I mean, come on. Then he said, okay, this is a Brahmana, so I must, basically. So he said, okay, he told the wife that, this Brahmana wants to enjoy you. Then she, being a chaste woman, she said, whatever husband says, I will follow. But she was, of course, very embarrassed. But then, so he was waiting in the room, this Bilwangal Thakur, and the woman came, and he was disgusted. Bilwangal Thakur had a change of heart again. He was disgusted. He said, this is my whole problem is my eyes. Every time I am looking at a woman, I am getting disturbed. Then the woman came. Then he asked, can you take off your hairpin? Then she thought, okay, he's going to, do what he's wanting to do. And she loosened her hair. She took out the hairpin. 2 hairpins took out. He said, give me those hairpins. And he took the hairpins and just put it inside his eyes, just straight into his eyes, and became blind. So then he thought like this, that I will never see a woman again. So in this way he went to Vrindavan, and actually he became a pure devotee. So pure, actually he stayed in Vrindavan for 700 years. And he became so pure that actually Krishna used to come and hear his songs. And he used to bring milk for Bilwangal Thakur. And Krishna used to have Bilwangal Thakur used to have conversations with Krishna. So our eyes, all our senses are very easily overtaken by material attractions, glaring material attractions, which actually pull us towards sinful activities. But if we can use those in Krishna's service, beginning with chanting and hearing, now that you are coming and hearing like this you hear. You read the books, you take the Srila Prabhupada books, especially now we are having this campaign of Gita Jayanti. Take one Bhagavad Gita. If you have already, distribute it to others. Or you take another book, you start reading. Because this knowledge is very important. Now this is only an hour we are sitting here. But actually, we require to read this every day. You're going to come once a week. Sometimes that is also not possible due to so many commitments. But make this a commitment. Don't keep this as a side thing. If I have time, I will go. No. If you have time, you do the other thing. But this appointment is fixed. That's how we should be. Then come and then read Prabhupada's books and engage yourself in service. Become more and more advanced like this. Very easy in this. You don't have to give up family and go to the forest. Nothing. Wherever you are, sthane sthita, shruti katham. You don't have to give up anything. You just have to open your ears to these topics of Krishna Katha and chant Hare Krishna. Open the mouth and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Just before we close, I think we have shown this verse many times, but it is always good to show this verse. Because if still at all we are lazy to chant, open the mouth and chant Hare Krishna, then Yamaraj has some advice. Jihvanavakti bhagavad gunanamadheyam chetascha smrati taccharanarvindam krishnaya no namati yachchira ekadapi tananayadvamasato krita vishnu krityan. Yamaraj is telling his servants, Yamaduta, Because Yamaraj doesn't come immediately when we are dead. Yamadutas come, the servants of Yamaraj. So he is telling his servants whom to bring to him. My dear servants, please bring to me only those sinful persons who do not use their tongues to chant the holy name and qualities of Krishna. So if you want appointment with Yamaraj, if you want to book his appointment, your appointment, please don't open your mouth to chant Hare Krishna. Talk all nonsense that you can. Whose hearts do not remember the lotus feet of Krishna even once. Whose heads do not bow down even once before Lord Krishna. Nowadays, especially Hindus, bowing down has gone from the dictionary. They go to the temple, or like this, the floor must come. No, I will not bow down. Floor must come to my head. Bow down, no. Put the head down. The heavy head, with full of ego, they put down. That is the meaning of Mam Namaskuru. Krishna is saying, bow down to me. Put the massive, the nonsense head down at my feet. That is what Krishna asks. So, we have to, that is the meaning of humility. Why we are bowing every time. Actually, sometimes people get confused. Why these people are always bowing down? Curtain open, bow down. Curtain close, bow down. Kirtan starting, bow down. Kirtan finish, bow down. And bowing down also not just putting the head down and waking up. Putting the head down and keeping there for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Entering the temple, bowing down. Exiting the temple, bowing down. Seeing Vaishnava, bowing down. Seeing Prabhupada, bowing down. What is this all bowing down? They think it is too much, But they don't, think twice before they do the crunches, What is that? Crunches like this, they won't do. But these crunches they don't want to do. Gym and all this, yes, like this. That they will do. So, you have to put the head down. Send me those who do not perform their duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. People say, I am doing my duty, Prabhu. What is your duty? I am working, Prabhu. That is not your duty. Duty, what is his duty? Do not perform their duties toward Vishnu, which are the only duties in human life. And you may ask, what is that duty I am doing at the office? That is maintenance of the body and the family. But what to do with that body and that family? To serve Krishna. To maintain the car is not your duty. To use the car is your duty to do something else. Maintaining the car is just to keep it in order so that you can travel here and there, do whatever you want to do. Maintaining the car is not your duty, unless you have a mechanic shop, So a doctor, he will maintain the body. That is his not duty, that is also his livelihood. This is all livelihood. Duty is not livelihood, What you do for your livelihood, that is not your duty. That is to maintain the body. But to maintain the body for what? The purpose is Atma Shuddhaye. And that Atma Shuddhi will happen if we do Krishna consciousness. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhu Noy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroye Udoy. Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali language. It is said, our Atma Shuddhi means what? Atma is always actually Shuddhi, Shuddha, pure. But it is covered with dust. Just like gold. In the ore, when you take it out, mine gold, it doesn't look shining like that, glittering gold, It will not look like that. It doesn't look anything attractive. But when you take out all the oxides, minerals and everything that is covering the gold, then the brilliance of gold will shine. So the gold is always actually brilliant. It is just covered with these dirty things. So our Atma is actually always Shuddha. Nitya Prema Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhyaka Bhuna. It is not something, Krishna Prem or love of Krishna is not something to be achieved. It is actually already there innate in our consciousness. That is our original consciousness. It is covered with this materialism due to which we have attachment towards our body, our family, our all these things, earth and home. So to come back to that duty, performing duties for Vishnu with our body, Kayena, is our aim of life. Please bring me all such fools and rascals, Yamaraj's order. But those who are devotees, this is the last, I promise. 6:3:27. For devotees, this is the te deva siddha parigita pavitra gatha ye sadhava samadrisho bhagavat prapannah tannopasidata harer gadaya bhiguptan naisham vayam na chavaya prabhavama dande. My dear servants, please do not approach such devotees, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone and their narrations are sung. The devotees' narrations are sung by the demigods and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near them. They are always protected by the club of the Personality of Godhead, and therefore Lord Brahma and I and even the time factor are not competent to chastise them. Lord Brahma or Yamaraj or even time is not competent to chastise the devotees. With time everybody dies, right? But a devotee, no. So that's because he uses all his time in discussing about Krishna. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyannastam chayanna sautasyarte yakshano uttama shloka vartaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. It's not that the devotees will never die. The body will die. But why it is said that it does not decrease the duration of life of the devotees? Because decrease of the duration of life means basically whatever we have been acquiring in this world is of depreciating value, because we're going to lose it at a certain point of time. That's why it is a loss. That's why death robs us of everything. But the asset of devotional service is never lost even by death, because whatever we gain in devotional service, if I only completed 2% of the entire devotional perfection, next life I will start from 3%. Or like why you are here? Something you have done in your previous life where you stopped somewhere. Now you are again coming. Not everybody is coming. Not everybody is listening to Bhagavad Gita. Not everybody is chanting. Why you are here? Because you are starting from where you left off. So like that you will be led again. So that asset will never be lost. That's why it is said even the sunrise and sunset cannot rob them, because these are permanent assets. Even the little you do, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So become Krishna conscious simply by chanting and reading Bhagavad Gita and all. There's so many books, your lifetime is not enough. Your lifetime is not enough to complete these books. So there is enough content. Please read and associate with devotees, chant Hare Krishna and help others. This is our movement. Alright, I think we'll stop here, quite late already. If you have any questions, we can always discuss upstairs, because I don't have really time for any questions right now. And if anybody have asked any questions online also, I can't really answer right now. So with this I would like to invite you upstairs, 5th floor for Prasadam, and we are having this Gita Jayanti.